right, guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Perfect. Well, welcome. We are so excited that you guys traveled from all over Mississippi to be here with us today. We are so pleased that you have prepared presentations and that you have used arts integration in your classroom. We are so tickled and excited to see what the results were and what your findings were. This is going to be a very casual time. We're going to start with Quitman, and we're going to go all the way through the 5 schools. There was one school that wasn't able to be with us today, but we're here in spirit. And we'll just ask if there's any, we'll begin with Quitman, and then we'll do some question and answers for that team, and proceed with the next group. So, part of you guys around that. So, without further ado, thank you.
Flip on up here a little bit.
Good afternoon. We are so excited to be here today to share some of our experiences we have with our arts plan. My name is Sharon Chisholm. I'm the curriculum coordinator for the district, but I also spend several days a week in our junior high school. I have with me Wendy Williams, who's a 4th grade social studies teacher, and I have Rodney Cook with me, who is 7th and 8th grade language arts. So, I'm going to begin just a little bit by telling you a little bit about our school. We're a very rural school. We're a very small school. We have about 2,400 students K-12. Some of our students may be on a bus over an hour to get to school every day. So it was a joy for us to be able to offer this because we don't have arts in our middle school. So we're very excited to have this opportunity. We are mainly a Title I, so we serve a diverse population of students, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm not going to take much of the ladies' time here because I want you to see how well that they did integrating this into their curriculum. So we're going to start with Ms. Williams. Hello. It really is a pleasure to be here. And I really enjoy when they came and did our training on this because I'm a humanities major, so this just fit right in with what my program was in college. Teaching junior high school students requires some creative instructional design, so integrating the arts was a perfect fit for enhancing our learning at Quitman Junior High. I've always found that effective instruction is affective instruction. As an educator, we have a responsibility to make our lessons realistic, relevant, and technically stimulating. We have children that have the attention span sometimes of a mosquito. We have to keep them active and motivated or we lose them. The way I tried to accomplish this was to present new information, and I gave myself 3 goals. 1, use persuasive techniques, get them involved the learners in the production, and provide post-instruction, discussion, and most importantly, reflection. For my persuasive technique, our unit was on the Industrial Revolution. And right away, I knew if I didn't get some affective emotion going, I was going to lose them pretty quickly. I always use a guiding question, and I try to make it open-ended, interesting, and non-judgmental. Mine was, at what price progress? The students' objectives were to understand the historical climate during the period of the Industrial Revolution and the emotional impact of that era. Work moved from the home to an artificial environment, and labor became a new concept with work regulated by machines and by the clock. To involve the learner, we of course did a warm-up activity. Anybody here wearing a garment that was handmade? Surprisingly, no. And activating prior knowledge, always building on what they already know. And they knew quite a bit about the garment making industry. They didn't know much about making clothes by hand, the cloth and everything that went with it. So we had to explore new information, and I read them a story that I researched when I was in college on child labor about a little boy who worked in a mine. Of course, the story ends up very sad. He ends up dying that day in the mine, and I get them all involved in the little boy because I want that emotion, that emotional impact to start, so I got their attention.
Then they did some reciprocal reading. I love reciprocal reading because students can discuss what they've just read. So then we broke them into groups, and we had 6 groups. And I asked the students to suppose they lived in a small town in 1820. A businessman announces he hopes to build a textile factory. The class was organized into 6 groups: sheep farmers, spinners, unemployed, landowners, merchants, and town officials. They had to meet and discuss the impact that the factory would have on each member, and then we got back together as a class, and they had a town meeting in which they presented their viewpoints. One person presented the viewpoint of the group. Then we moved on into the technically stimulating part. And we started out, our department head did a wonderful PowerPoint using businesses and people, actual pictures from that time period. And instead of having the students take notes, I gave them a graphic organizer where I did the first and the ending. And then I would go through the PowerPoint. And as I did the PowerPoint, I would stop occasionally and let them write down what they would recall the sequence of it, helping the language arts teachers and history teachers with teaching sequence. And then, after we finished that, we got into groups, and we looked at photos that we thought would be interesting for the children. And I think they all did about 4 to 6 photographs that they had to analyze. And when they analyzed them, they used a document analysis sheet from a DBQ project that I attended, and it's wonderful with helping them deal with learning how to analyze primary documents. Then I needed some humor so that I wouldn't lose them totally. By the way, this was a 3-day lesson, so I didn't do all this in the 47 minutes that I have in that class. But I wanted something to get them to get their emotion back into it because they've been doing paperwork. So I showed a film clip of I Love Lucy, when Lucy and Ethel are on the factory chain and they're wrapping chocolates. And the chocolates keep pouring out, they're stuffing them in their cabin, in their clothes. And the kids were actually laughing. I mean, I wasn't sure how this humor was going to go over with this age group. But then the boss comes out, and I wanted to discuss at the end of the clip the boss's reaction. And basically it was, speed it up, we need to get more. You know, the whole idea about the Industrial Revolution, speed it up, we have more production coming up. Then I really went back in time, and I showed another 6-minute clip of Modern Times with Charlie Chaplin, where the little tramp becomes part of the clock, he actually becomes part of the machine, which led us into our project where we did, the children had an opportunity to either draw a picture or write a poem.